Is the largest military exercise in American history about impending martial law? Or is it really the prelude to war with Iran? What is the breaking point? Globally, the top story right now, if you're paying attention, is Jade Helm, the domestic military exercise that has America very concerned. Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, the governor of Texas, and even Chuck Norris are raising their own concerns. A few days ago, in his column on WorldNet Daily, Chuck Norris wrote, quote, "Concerned Texans and Americans are in no way calling into question our brave and courageous men and women in uniform. They are merely following orders. What's under question are those who are pulling the strings at the top of Jade Helm 15 back in Washington. The U.S. government says it's just a training exercise, but I'm not sure the term just has any reference to reality when the government uses it." We've been covering it at Next News for weeks now. Our main investigation, Jade Helm Decoded, was even featured on the CBS National News, and the pushback from the people is continuing to grow. Some say the whole exercise may be scrapped altogether. Now, when we report stories here, we wait until there are multiple sources before we take any action. That is why this specific report is so important. It revolves around the reasons certain states were selected to participate in the exercise and why certain states or regions were labeled as hostile. Jade Helm can easily serve multiple purposes, two of which are worst-case scenarios. The first is that this is to acclimate troops to performing clandestine actions against U.S. citizens in the event of total societal breakdown, economic collapse, civil uprising, or catastrophic natural disaster. That's what we covered in Jade Helm Decoded, and that's linked below. The second is the focus of this report, and equally disturbing. In our report titled Jade Helm Preparing for Armageddon, we propose that the U.S. military was training for expanding operations in the Middle East in coordination with their NATO allies, fulfilling an apocalyptic prophecy. Well, now, let's take a look at the publicly available and verifiable information that is at our disposal. The military has been out in the public, openly saying they are training for overseas deployment. If we accept that on its face, and it's true, then a covert invasion and takeover of foreign nations is definitely in play, and multiple outlets have already connected the dots in a very startling way. Sputnik News did a great job dissecting this information, and much of what follows is based on their research. Starting with the map of Jade Helm states, we see various colors and designations. Note the hostile states and their locations. Once you turn the map slightly, the hostile nations line up with what the U.S. may consider hostile nations in the Middle East, most notably Texas as Iran and California as Israel. Analysts propose that the simulated invasion of Iran, or Texas, would be launched and coordinated across the Gulf of Mexico at Elgin Air Force Base. The Gulf of Mexico would be playing the role of the Atlantic Ocean or perhaps the Persian Gulf. Camp Shelby, Mississippi would play the role of a Saudi base.
Warfighters comprised of the 155th Armored Brigade Combat Team hosted a combined arms live-fire exercise here at Camp Shelby's Joint Force Training Center.
This event shows that the Mississippi National Guard has the capability of simultaneously acquiring and firing at multiple targets.
When you conduct a combined arms live fire rehearsal, it's bringing all those forces to bear that you train at all summer long.
This combined arms live fire exercise is the highlight of the Tupelo-based 155th Armored Brigade Combat Team's Warfighter exercise.
This event for the Mississippi National Guard was the first of its size in over a decade. Reporting for the Mississippi Minuteman, I'm Army Sergeant Michael Needham.
New Mexico, labeled as a brown or uncertain-leaning hostile state, would play the role of Iraq. Geographically next to Texas, it shares similar terrain as well as similar military bases that could offer staging and material support for an invasion of Iran. Utah is colored red and labeled a hostile nation. Geographically, on the map, it falls into the same region as Syria and follows a similar mixed terrain of flatlands and mountains. A simulated battle will occur in a remote area of Utah. Investigators propose that the opposing force will represent the Syrian army during an LSE, or a large-scale exercise. The state capital is believed to be playing the role of Damascus, as 2 covert ops detachments will be deployed there. Turkey is a NATO ally. That's why experts believe Colorado is labeled as a blue permissive state. Colorado and Turkey also share similar mountainous terrain. Arizona is labeled as neutral-leaning friendly state, colored light blue. Experts believe Lebanon would be neutral should war break out with Syria, and Nevada is permissive solid blue, likely playing the role of Jordan and sharing the same geography. Now, California shares many of the same features of Israel through its terrain and coastal climate. The hostile area in red likely represents the West Bank or Gaza Strip. Both would be hostile if an invasion of Iran occurred. If this layout is accurate, and the various states are in fact playing the roles revealed here, then 2 things are certain. 1, the U.S. military planners who drafted Jade Helm are tremendously stupid for revealing their entire invasion plan for the world to see. And 2, America is truly preparing for war with Iran. Do you think this is the case? Do you believe the military planners when they say this exercise is for use abroad? I'd love to hear what you have to say on this matter in the comments section. And if you haven't seen our Jade Helm reports or the CBS hit piece that featured yours truly, browse our channel or look in the description for the links. As always, please share this report with all you know. Comment below. That is how we grow. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi, and please be safe out there.